All right, I want to talk about Drake Maye because there's a lot of talk with the Patriots of should they draft a quarterback or should they not, given their current situation. It doesn't, many people feel as though it's not a great situation for a young quarterback to succeed. They also did do some things to try and help out that situation, make the offense around Maye better. But I thought it'd be interesting to kind of go back, watch the footage, and talk about what he could maybe do with this Patriots, supporting cast. And maybe sometimes he can make things happen, even if it isn't a great situation, which is something we certainly saw at North Carolina at times last year. Like, the play you see on the screen is, to me, a good example of what he can do, where it's going to be a one-on-one matchup on the outside. Okay, these are plays that happen all the time at the NFL level. You see that when Maye takes the snap, he's going to look right here. And again, is this open? Well, not in a traditional sense. If you just throw it down the field, it's probably not open. If you make it sort of a regular jump ball, there's not a lot of separation. But Maye is going to do something that you don't see a lot of young quarterbacks do. Watch him throw a back shoulder here, really well timed, and gave his receiver a chance right there. That's really good stuff in my opinion, kind of smart stuff. Drake Maye is someone who I also like people talk about him as though he's a bumbling idiot at this point. Like, listen, he has some issues with, every now and then he'll have certain moments that you look at and say that's not great. But there are also little things he does to help out himself, to help out his wide receivers in situations that in the NFL, if guys aren't as open, could still be a benefit. I do think there are times where he does things I'm like, that was actually really well done. Like something like this, where it's going to be a man coverage concept. So that's the way this play is designed to work. And the play you see on the screen is not the play that Pitt is going to be running. There is a slight difference. This is what they're looking like they're going to run. For Drake Maye, he's reading the play, assuming this is what's going to happen, but there's going to be a slight shift. That player will actually be rushing the passer right here. So what does that mean? Well, if he's not covering the guy in front of him, who is covering the guy in front of him? That's going to be a safety. So a safety covers the player who's, the number 3 receiver on the bottom of the screen, and a corner who looks like he's going to cover the number 3 receiver rushing the passer. So this is why there's the old expression where you throw it to where the blitz is. If there's a blitzer in that area, then you want to throw it in that area because logically it makes sense, right? The safety is further off due to this disguise, so you'll have a little window there. But another aspect in this play that has multiple moving parts before the play has even started is the fact that it's a 3rd down and 11, which is part of why Pitt is doing this, right? Because if you decide to run this play and, Drake Maye makes this throw immediately, the hope is your safety can get over and make the tackle. So if you're going to read this for Drake Maye, you're going to have to read it really quickly. But watch Drake Maye make the catch, immediately gets the ball over there, which allows the receiver to make the catch and pick up a 1st down. This is just really smart football because, again, we talked through this before the play even started. For Maye, he doesn't get that. It's entirely a post-snap read, but he made his decision really quickly. And at the NFL level, that is certainly something that can be a big benefit because usually with young quarterbacks, defensive coordinators are going to blitz the hell out of you and essentially force you to beat the blitz. So the fact that he already kind of knows this stuff, in my opinion, is something that could, just give him a longer shelf life, right? Because usually what you need as a young quarterback is first things first, to just play decent. It doesn't guarantee you'll get a couple, more years, but like Mac Jones, for example, played solid his first year, and that essentially locked him into 2 more years. Even though he sucked year 2, he was still given a 3rd year before they finally let him go. So first thing you have to do is find ways to just, stay in the NFL. So doing stuff like this can help. And also something like this, where, so the play concept, zone coverage, you see the route he's going to look towards on this 3rd down and 7 situation. However, when it begins, do you think he should throw this football? Well, no, the receiver is falling down, so probably not going to work out too well. Looked like the defensive back was ready to make contact and then kind of didn't have to because the receiver just fell. So, okay, hey, it happens. Got to figure something else out. But this is the other thing that I think could give Drake Maye a little bit more of a higher floor when he first enters the league. Watch him be able to scramble up, and he's going to pick up a 1st down. So again, we talk about, well, the Patriots might not have the best, receiving core situation. And again, they have some guys. I like the Mario Douglas. I like Jalen Polk, who they just drafted, and even Javon Baker for his draft pick was good. Maybe they'll get something out of Juju Smith-Schuster. Maybe they'll get something out of KJ Osborne or Kendrick Bourne. There's a lot of guys, right? But my main point is that if there are plays where it doesn't work out, I think Maye is someone who can still find a way to turn it into a positive. even in situations like this, where it's going to be a zone coverage play, and you see the concept on the screen where you have 3 receivers trying to get into gaps in coverage past the first down marker. None of those get open. You do have a check down as well. So Maye takes the snap. He is going to look towards the top of the screen. That's where he wants to go with the football. But again, it's not quite in a situation where it can really, nothing really looks that open. Maybe you could make a throw, but it's not a great situation. Maye quickly gets to the check down, which, hey, New England knows all too well that there is a lot of value in knowing when to hit the check down. Obviously, Brady did that very successfully for years. So having that part of your game down, a big benefit as well. And the other thing is something like this, which, again, I'm not saying Drake Maye doesn't have his faults as a player. I've made a whole film study where I've talked about more him as a player and the pros and the cons. But for him, in terms of how he fits into the Patriots, one other thing is hey, there were times last year where guys got open and the quarterback play just wasn't good enough to get the open guy. This situation, it's a one-on-one matchup. Maye is going to take the snap. He looks down the field, fires down the field, and this is open. I mean, for the NFL, it's kind of wide open. For college, it's just regular open, right? But it's not the easiest open throw you'll ever see. Sometimes we watch college tape, and there's a guy with no one within even 20 yards of him. That's not the situation here. But watch this really accurate throw. They're able to get a touchdown. That's another aspect, is just, hey, there's no team in the NFL that doesn't get receivers open. There's teams that get receivers open consistently and teams that don't do it consistently. The Patriots might be inconsistent, but that doesn't mean they'll never get guys open. And if you can just hit the throws when they are open, that could be good as well. So yeah, listen, we can sit here and say all we want about, situation's bad, not great situation. And there is some evidence to support that being in a better situation does make you more likely to succeed at the next level. In fact, for young quarterbacks where it's so difficult to project if they're going to be successful, especially when it's guys who weren't drafted first overall, there is a pretty big uptick for guys that are successful after getting drafted first overall. If you get drafted into a better situation, you're more likely to succeed. All of that stuff is true. But at the same time, sometimes it's really hard to figure out if it's a good situation or not until we actually see the situation, right? It's a new coaching staff. There's multiple new receivers, including, some young players who will get older on top of this. And, I would make the comparison to the Houston Texans, who last year we all kind of said, wow, Texans, Stroud's not going into a great situation. But the new coaching hire was a massive hit. And then Tank Dell and Nico Collins both, Dell was in his rookie year, looked awesome. Nico Collins in his second year took a big jump and looked awesome. And so all of a sudden you have 2 great receiving threats and a great head coach, and now it's a great situation. So maybe the Patriots will have that as well. But even if they don't, I do think there's enough in Drake Maye's game that, listen, sometimes as a quarterback, you're going to have to play in bad situations. Even if you go into a great situation, you're still going to have moments where you're in a bad situation and you're going to have to make things happen. And for Drake Maye, I think he is equipped to handle it. And I do think that, for me, I think he's a good enough prospect. I would bank on him succeeding in those situations. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on all of this. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.